Hi, and thank you for watching this Petrek GPS pet tracker or iPet pet tracker video. This video here will be a short initial video on just the basic usage of this tracker, so how to attach it onto a collar, how to charge it, how to turn it on, and how to put a SIM card in, and basic setup. So, before we start anything, one of the very main things that's required is a SIM card. If your the place that you've bought these trackers from already come with a SIM card and it's already been inserted, then don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about this step. But if you bought one that doesn't come with a SIM card and it requires you to get a prepaid SIM card, then that's fine. For New Zealand users, we do recommend getting a Vodafone Pay and Go or just a 2-degree open plan prepaid card, because a $20 credit will last you a whole year. If you're in Australia, an Aldi card, for example, from the Aldi supermarket will work quite well as well. For $10 or $15 will last you a whole year, or $20 will last you a whole year. There's no ongoing fees. You just top it up once a year before it expires, and you can use the tracker 24/7. If you're overseas, out of New Zealand and Auckland, or Australia, that's alright. Just make sure you get a prepaid card that uses GPRS or 2G network, and that doesn't bind you into any monthly cost, because you don't want that, because it doesn't use much data, and there's just no point paying monthly for these. So let's start off with putting in the SIM card first, but before you put it in, make sure it's being activated. Either you put it in the phone to activate it, or get the staff at the telco company to activate it properly for you. Make sure there's credit in there and that you've registered online, so you can check your credit at least once or twice a year, just so you can make sure it's always credited and your tracker will always work. So to begin, what we're going to do is, if you turn to the back of the cover, it'll come with a nice little screwdriver, not like the one I'm using, but similar. So what you want to do is turn anti-clockwise, so towards the left, and just loosen this up. Now make sure when you're putting it back that you want to have it nice and tight. So just turn it with your fingers or wrists until it feels nice and tight. And always remember, when you're putting it back, that comes with these little rubber nut lugs you'll see on my hand here. Make sure you put them back into these holes here, because it stops the water from going in and improves waterproof efficiency. So once this is opened, what you want to do is, you'll see the chip here. The chip here has to face the bottom where this pin is. So you'll see the charging head over here, and you'll see a kink. You want these two to be on the same side. You simply just push it in, and that's how you get the SIM card in, nice and easy. Now you just have to put this back, and again use the screwdriver that's provided and screw it nice and tight. Now that we have this all tightened up, I'm going to show you a few basic things, notes that is well worth remembering. One of the first things is, this is the charging port here, and you literally just lift this up and you plug this in. The red means it's still charging, isn't fully charged. If you charge about 30 to 40 minutes or so, that red should come off. If it doesn't come off, doesn't matter. Unplug it and plug it back again. If you plug it back and the red doesn't come on, that means you fully charge your tracker. But in most cases, plug it in for about an hour. It'll be fully charged by then. Alright, and the other very important thing is, a lot of people tend to be a little bit too violent. They pull this whole thing out. Now there's a stopper here, so that people don't pull out and lose it. So you only want to be flicking out, because if you pull this out, you have to send the tracker back to us, and then we have to refit a new one, because you'll end up breaking the rubber breaker that's on the inside. So what you do always is, when you put it back, just wiggle a bit. Use your finger and just make it nice and snug. That way water doesn't get in. But if you're opening it up, just flick it open enough like this. And like I said, put this plug in and let it charge. And the next quite important step is how to turn on and off. A lot of people get confused because they don't know whether their tracker is on and off. Now, one of the main things is, if you're charging it, always make sure you turn it off. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to turn it on and off. So if you turn it on, there's 3 LED lights here. They're very close together. Some people might only see 2 lights, but what you do is you press this button here, you'll see 3 lights come on at the same time. There we are. Some might only see 2. But that means it's on, and once it's on, you should see a flash every 10 seconds or so. You won't see it now because I've actually taken the SIM card out. But just make sure that you understand when 2 or 3 lights, when all the lights come on at the same time, that means it's on. But when you want to turn it off, press it 2 to 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Let go. 1, 2, 3. You'll see 3 lights go off. That means you've turned it off. Always make sure that is the case when you're charging it. So if you plug it in, press it and make sure you see a sequence. So let's try that again. If you press 2 to 3 seconds, that means it's on. So you see all the lights come on at the same time. Now if you want to turn it off, press it another 2 to 3 seconds. Let go. Then you see the lights 1, 2, 3. Alright, that means it's off. Now the last part of this video is to show you how to use the universal adapter. Everything I've told you here is mostly on the user guide, so you don't have to worry too much if you're too confused what I'm talking about. There is video, step-by-step guides on your user guide that comes with your pet tracking box as well. But you'll see here there's an arrow, and you'll see an arrow here. That means you want to match the arrows together and then turn clockwise, anti-clockwise. And that clicks it in place. Don't force it the other way, and don't force it the other way. It doesn't take much force. A lot of people force it and end up breaking the legs. These legs can only withstand up to 6 kgs. They are made to break off in case your dog gets stuck. If you have a bigger dog, then make sure you use the silicone rings that come with these and tie the silicone rings from here with your collar, and that will make it much more firmer. Now the next thing you might be wondering is how do you use this universal collar. So all you do is put your collar through the first hole, take it through the second hole, and there you have it. This will then attach. Obviously the best collar is the collar that can fit this snugly, not too tight, not too loose, something thicker and wider. So choose your collar correctly to one that fits properly. When you're done, again, same thing, arrow to arrow, anti-clockwise, and now lock it. And when you want to take it off, depending on which side it is, you can, don't force it, and you can easily come off. Alright, so before we move on to the next video, which is about downloading the iPet app to start making use of this tracker, you need to set up something. It's called the APN. You'll see this in your user guide. It's sort of code that's required to set this up to talk to the SIM card and use its internet data, because it uses data to send location information to your phone. So what you want to do is, I'll use this iPhone as a demonstration, is go to messages, alright, and then see how we've already typed this here. So for example, if today you're using a SIM card from Vodafone, then that means the APN on that is Vodafone. Not all companies like this. 2 degrees, for example, the APN is internet. So since I have a Vodafone card in here, what I want to type in is 510 hash 0000 hash Vodafone. And then you press send. What that does is after it's sent, this will receive the text message and set up itself to be able to connect to the internet, and therefore be able to send you its location very soon. Your phone will also reply setup OK, APN OK, and that just confirms with you that the setup is fine. So what you want to do from now is put your tracker outside, or give it to someone, tell them to go out for a walk, or just put it outside will do. And we'll conclude this video for this initial setup. Do click onto your iPet app video guide, which will be in the descriptions below.